से भी चालू कर दिया है और मेरे को एक स्ट्रीम का लिंक मैं डाल देता हूँ बस एंड देन आई थिंक वी आर गुड टू गो। Yep. Watch this. क्या हो गया? हम्म, चलो इसको तो देख लेंगे हम। Okay. Yeah, Akash is joining. Pinged. Maintenance. Up to darkness. Share. Okay. Cool. So I think we can just start now. Screen, I hope, is visible. Okay. Cool. Uh, uh, uh,
Well, I'm joining from my laptop, so just allow me,
हाँ, आप
please.
आराम से। अच्छा, आप लैपटॉप से भी ज्वाइन कर रहे हो? आ जाओ सर। डन। So, welcome guys to another edition of TBC Live. आज भी हम शार्क टैंक की एनालिसिस कर रहे हैं। शार्क टैंक हैज बीन ऑन द इन द मेन स्ट्रीम। शार्क टैंक का सीजन जब भी आता है तब मेन स्ट्रीम पे ही रहती है। इनफैक्ट दैट ब्रिंग्स द होल स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम इन द मेन स्ट्रीम इकोसिस्टम। तो आज भी हमारा लाइव स्टार्टअप जितनी भी शार्क टैंक डील्स हुई हैं पिछले एक हफ्ते में उसकी एनालिसिस करेंगे हम। As usual, we don't go by what the judges are saying, we don't go by the pitches, we go by what the product is. So हमारी एनालिसिस थोड़ी सी अलग होती है and we'll basically start off with that. Before we kick it off, a small introduction about the Builders Club. We are one of the largest startup founder communities globally. We are kind of a one-stop shop for anything that you might need for building your startup. And in case you guys have any issues in terms of hearing, because last time a few of the comments said कि voice का थोड़ा सा issue था, तो मुझे बता देना तो we'll modulate the things little bit better. We are 75,000 builders, 250 plus events. हमारा एक podcast भी है जो कि लास्ट ईयर स्पॉटिफाई ने they gave us an award for one of the best in the long form segment. We have 7 offline city chapters as well as a co-investor network. So in case you people are raising funds, you should be a part of the club. There are few events also which are happening जो मेरे ख्याल से थोड़ी थोड़ी देर बाद मैं उसको कवर करूंगा. But let's just basically get down to business because that's what you guys are here for. We'll talk about the startup news as usual. हम चालू करेंगे फंडिंग की न्यूज से. So इस हफ्ते there have been, I mean last year बहुत ही बुरा हफ्ता था in terms of funding, but this week things have kind of improved. Overall, $240 million of funding was deployed, and and इसमें से around 8 deals हुई हैं 140 million की, which were in the growth and the late stage, and 30 deals of worth around 100 million in the early stage. So growth stage में किस किसने पैसा उठाया? रिवर ने पैसा उठाया है, which is an EV manufacturer. एनारॉक ने पैसा उठाया है 24 million, which is in the real estate consultancy. ये debt funding है. Loham, which is in the clean energy space, they picked up $23 million. Then there was Global Bees. Of course, you guys know Global Bees. They picked up $18 million in debt. Then there is Muffin Green Finance, which is in the EV financing space. They are a EV financing platform. They raised $16 million. Big Heart, which is in the agri-tech space, they raised their, I think, pre-series C इनके $8.4 million का. Verse Innovation, which is the parent company of Daily Hunt, they raised $50 million in debt. And then there was the Bombay Shirt Company, which is in the D2C apparel space. They raised $3.2 million. These are all the great stage deals, growth stage deals. कमिंग टू अर्ली स्टेज, ऑफ कोर्स 30 के 30 डील्स को हम नहीं लिस्ट कर पाए हैं, बट वी हैव केप्ट इन द टॉप 5 to 10. Qs, which is in the smart home automation space, they raised the highest amount in the early stage space. 12 मिलियन की फंडिंग उठाई है इन लोगों ने. इसके बाद आता है ओटो. Otto is a two-wheeler EV finance platform. They raised $10 million. Then there was Pandorum, which raised $8 million. Wishlink raised $7 million. They are in the creator-focused commerce space. Then there is Devex. Devex has been one of our partners in the co-working space also, wherein we have had our TBC events in their spaces. They raised $7 million. Attentive, which is in the SaaS space, they raised $7 million. Then there is Vidyut, which is again an EV firm. They raised $7 million. Metafin, which is in the clean tech space, they raised $5 million. Khayal, which is in the health tech space, ये elder care space है. मेरी previous company का competitor है ये. $4.2 million. Then there is Appliance, which is in the home appliances space. They raised $4 million. There were two other companies which raised funds. There was Ethereal X, which is basically the equivalent of what SpaceX is doing in the US. They're manufacturer of reusable rockets that bring both the stages of the rocket back to Earth. They raised undisclosed round of funding. Then there is Plank Dot, which is digital infrastructure innovations startup. They basically raised again an undisclosed round. Any of these startups you guys would want to double click on? I'm just putting it out there in case you people want. We can probably double click on any of these. नहीं तो we can probably move on to the Shark Tank in the Shark Tank space. कुलमणि सर, इनमें से किसी में भी इंटरेस्ट है आपको डिस्कशन करने में? एनी ऑफ दीज साउंड इंटरेस्टिंग टू यू? चलो,
Can't
आई
hear
थिंक
him.
लेट्स मूव ऑन. um so city space, in terms of cities, I think as usual Bangalore leads the chart. 12 डील्स हुई हैं बैंगलोर से. बॉम्बे और दिल्ली दोनों से 9 डील्स हुई हैं. और इसके अलावा अहमदाबाद, बड़ौदा, थाने, नवी मुंबई, पुणे, कोलकाता, हैदराबाद, चेन्नई, सबसे एक एक डील हुई है. मतलब इस हफ्ते तो मेरे ख्याल से स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम में बहुत सारे सेलिब्रेशंस हुए हैं. a lot of people have picked up money from across India, which is very, मतलब ये जो ग्राफ है ना, ये ग्राफ इतना सुंदर होता नहीं है. यूजुअली बैंगलोर, दिल्ली और बॉम्बे में ही कुछ कुछ होता है और बाकी एक दो छोटी मोटी सिटीज होती है. बट बड़ौदा, अहमदाबाद से भी पैसे उठे हैं इस हफ्ते. तो दैट्स अ ग्रेट साइन. यहाँ से हम लोग डायरेक्टली जंप करते हैं शार्क टैंक की डील्स में. राइट, सो वील बेसिकली स्टार्ट ऑफ विथ the first few which basically got funded. और यहाँ पे आई थिंक कुलमणि, हैरी, सौरभ, द वे वी डू इट इज हम इनकी वेबसाइट और इनका पीआर वीआर थोड़ा सा चेक करते हैं, तो हम थोड़ा सा और हमें आइडिया मिलता है कि ये क्या करती है. पहली कंपनी जिसने पिच किया था इन शार्क टैंक दिस वीक वाज वॉक, विच इज इन द वेरेबल मोबिलिटी एड स्पेस. 50 लाख मांगे थे इन्होंने 1.2% इक्विटी पे, लेकिन उनकी डील 50 लाख और 2.3% इक्विटी पे क्लोज हुई है. अमन गुप्ता और अनुपम मित्तल दोनों ने पैसे डाले. सो आई एम अ ग्रेट फैन ऑफ अनुपम मित्तल. मुझे लगता है अनुपम मित्तल एटलीस्ट फ्रॉम एन एनालिसिस पर्सपेक्टिव सही जगह पैसा डालते हैं. तो अगर वो डाल रहा है तो कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग होगा. लेट्स सी व्हाट दे डू. राइट. तो वॉक, let me just check. सारे वीडियोस ही आ रहे हैं इनके. अच्छा.
I think company name is different.
कंपनी नेम इज डिफरेंट. वेरेबल मोबिलिटी एड, देखते हैं जरा क्या आता है. वेरेबल मोबिलिटी एड, है ना? दिस गाय, लाइफ स्पार्क टेक्नोलॉजीज, दिस इज द कंपनी. A wearable mobility aid for Parkinson's disease. This is a great one. और नो वंडर इसमें आई एम सरप्राइज कि नमिता ने इसमें पैसा नहीं डाला। पार्किंसंस के लिए वेरेबल मोबिलिटी एड है। इनका स्पेस तो काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है, नीश भी है, एंड इट हैज द हेल्थ केयर एलिमेंट आल्सो एडेड टू इट। इसका फाउंडर कौन है? समित चक्रवर्ती। अच्छा। तो ये तो यूके का बंदा है, न्यूरोफिजिसिस्ट है। तो आई एम श्योर दैट दे मस्ट हैव अ लॉट ऑफ पेटेंट्स एंड ऑल एज वेल। क्या लगता है आपको इसमें, कुलमणि, हैरी, सौरभ, व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस कंपनी? ये तो पूरा डीप टेक है इन अ वे, हेल्थ टेक में दे दिस गाय हैज प्रॉब्ली पेटेंट्स हैं इसके पास, मुझे जो समझ में आ रहे हैं। ये देखो ना, रेफरेंसेस डाला है। फाउंडर भी अगर इसका न्यूरोफिजिसिस्ट है तो आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि दिस गाय मस्ट हैव अ फ्यू पेटेंट्स अंडर हिज बेल्ट अराउंड दिस।
The interesting feature, I saw this episode actually,
अच्छा।
and so basically, when the person is walking and when they turn,
हम्म।
typically there is a lot of fall happening in the
हम्म।
patients.
हम्म।
So this device triggers some nerves which soothes the whole process in the body,
हम्म।
and they are able to prevent the fall.
हम्म। हम्म। हम्म।
So
हम्म।
that's a product.
सो यूजुअली पार्किंसंस के जो हमने प्रोडक्ट्स देखे हैं ना, होता क्या है, ये लोग ब्रेन में मतलब न्यूरॉन्स को ट्रिगर करने वाले ही होते हैं। बस ज्यादातर जो डिवाइसेस होती हैं वो काफी हेफ्टी होती हैं, या फिर उनको ब्रेन में कनेक्ट करना पड़ता है। देर आर अ फ्यू डिवाइसेस दैट वी हैव सीन, जो कि आप ऑन करोगे तो फिर इनका जो हाथ जो हिलता है, मतलब जो शेकिंग होती है इनकी, वो पूरी की पूरी रुक जाती है। सो आई एम अज्यूमिंग दैट दिस इज मोर ऑफ अ mobile device. It is much more mobile than the other ones. And ये देखो ना, centuries old mobility aids may be replaced by wearables. So it's a wearable technology. It's a wearable exoskeleton, the way I look at it. क्या लगता है कुलमणि, सौरभ, any take on this from your side? इसमें लेकिन बाकी और भी बहुत सारी कंपनीज होंगी, प्राइस कंपटीशन, इसका प्राइसिंग वाइसिंग का ज्यादा होगा नहीं। प्राइसिंग आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि should not be a barrier. I think the quality of service that is able to provide, whether it gets the job done, is more important. क्या लगता है सौरभ
I
सर?
think distribution is also an issue here, right? Because if let's suppose a person who has an issue, right, how can he find the right device, right? I think that would
यार ये
be
तो डॉक्टर ही करेगा रेकमेंड। इनका तो मतलब
yeah,
ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स तो डॉक्टर के थ्रू ही जाते हैं, और कोई नहीं है। हॉस्पिटल ही बोलेगा कि ये
right,
डिवाइस लो।
right. The
राइट।
only way is through MRs, right? MRs is the
हाँ,
only way.
ये कोई सीन इसमें इसमें मतलब इट्स नॉट बी टू सी प्रोडक्ट, इट्स अ बी टू सी प्रोडक्ट। और ये ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स तो आपको, इफ somebody has Parkinson's, द डॉक्टर ओनली विल रेकमेंड कि भाई ये वाली डिवाइस यूज करो।
That's where it becomes a difficult sell,
Why do you say
because
so?
then the whole practice of first convincing the doctors and the ecosystem, the way any recommendation from a doctor is to be done, you know,
हम्म।
the cost of acquisition is pretty high there.
अब देखो, मैं बता रहा हूँ, आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल। तो मेरी ना, माय माय मदर हैज अ हियरिंग प्रॉब्लम अ लिटिल बिट, ठीक है। अब मैं जब डॉक्टर के पास गया, वॉट एवर द डॉक्टर टोल्ड मी कि यार ये डिवाइस है, ये डिवाइस लो। नाउ दैट डिवाइस वाज अ वेरी एक्सपेंसिव डिवाइस, आई हैड नेवर एंटिसिपेटेड कि इतनी महंगी डिवाइस होती है, ठीक है। बट उन्होंने अगर बोला और वो है भैया इतने दाम की, तो मैं फिर सोचूंगा नहीं, आई वुड स्टिल, मतलब वो ये ऐसी चीज है ना, दिस इज नॉट अ गुड टू हैव डिवाइस, दिस इज अ मस्ट हैव डिवाइस इफ यू रियली वांट टू फंक्शन प्रॉपर्ली। तो मेरे ख्याल से अगर डॉक्टर को सेल हो गया है, इफ द डॉक्टर इज कन्विंस दैट दिस प्रोडक्ट इज वर्किंग, देन आई थिंक इट इज एन इजियर सेल। मतलब ये वही वाली बात होती है यार, कि जो एमआर के थ्रू डॉक्टर्स को ही कन्विंस करने का गेम है पूरा का पूरा। क्या लगता है सौरभ सर? व्हाट्स योर टेक?
So I also watched the episode, like the product to a large extent,
हम्म।
because I have seen patients of Parkinson's before a lot,
हम्म।
right? So this is like a device which would be helpful in the early stages.
Hmm.
For me, I think the fact was that the co-founders of the company, they seem to be a lot more product oriented. While this
Hmm.
is more like a sales thing, like you said, that it needs to be recommended by the doctors. Plus, there are few companies which are working towards Parkinsonism, and there they have got specific sites for the products which come in.
Hmm.
So these guys need to list out there. So I think this is more like a distribution game for them now. The
Hmm.
product seemed, I would say, decent in the way they showed it on the thing, and efficacy was high, I think, for the product.
Hmm.
So it seemed like a good product, though it's expensive, but I think still it's worth it.
विशाल भाई बताओ, what's your take?
I'm as usual midway, neither here nor there. Uh, some personal experience. I have seen cases of Parkinson in my family, and
Hmm.
I am from a family of doctors. So my
अच्छा.
take on this is twofold. I have seen the video that was shown, and it is quite frankly, it promises to be a game changer.
Hmm.
However, the marketer in me says a major problem. Because first of all, Parkinson's requires early diagnosis, and that is not
Hmm.
always the case. So the
Hmm.
founders of this company will really need to work with the medical staff. Uh, as you correctly said, it can only go through medical staffs, and early diagnosis will be a key point. And in India, that is a serious challenge. In the West, maybe there is more awareness. I wouldn't know.
Hmm.
But being from a family of doctors, my dad had early onset, early stage Parkinson's, although it was very late onset in his 70s. And he
Okay.
was a doctor, so I mean, we didn't intervene because we were the kids and everyone in the family was a doctor. And this is about
Hmm.
15 years ago. So I have my doubts as to market size, and I have serious doubts as to market size in India. In the West, if they can crack that market, that's a no-brainer.
Hmm.
This is a winner for me.
ये
In India,
बंदा
of
तो
course,
वैसे भी
it
यूके
will
का
require
बंदा है यार.
somebody with the medical
Hmm.
knowledge of the current scenario of Parkinson's in India. But I see a massive market size challenge in India.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's a good product. No problems in that.
मुझे वही लग रहा है, ये इंडिया वाले शार्क टैंक में क्यों आए? आई एम सरप्राइज. ये तो कैम्ब्रिज का बंदा है, यूके का बंदा है. हो सकता है यहीं पे प्रमोशंस
The
के लिए
lead
आया हो.
founder is Indian actually. He
अच्छा.
is like a co-founder, Samit.
हाँ, so he
So
is the
Samit
domain
wasn't there
expert.
on the,
He
yeah.
is the domain expert. हम्म. चलो सही है यार. अगले वाले पे निकलते हैं फिर. कुलमणि सर, इफ यू हैव एनीथिंग टू ऐड. काफी टाइम से आप सोच में डूबे हुए हो, तो मैंने सोचा पूछ लूं.
So I had bad audio, then joined from a different device. So
अच्छा
I
अच्छा,
missed
कोई
the
बात.
first part of the discussion,
ओके.
but no insights on this one, I think.
अच्छा ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं सर फिर अगले वाले पे. नेक्स्ट इज अच्छा, लेट्स जस्ट बेसिकली डू द वंस व्हिच हैव गॉटन फंडेड. उसके बाद अगर टाइम बचा तो जिनमें नो डीले उस पे चलेंगे. अगला है डी कोड एज, विच इज एज लॉन्जिटिविटी सप्लीमेंट्स. 1 crore फॉर 1.25% इक्विटी मांग रहे थे, 1 crore फॉर 2.25 इक्विटी प्लस 1% रॉयल्टी. अच्छा, ये किसने? ये भी अनुपम मित्तल. नमिता थापड़ क्यों नहीं लगा रही पैसा? सरप्राइज्ड. चलो ये भी देखते हैं. डी कोड एज, विच इज एज लॉन्जिटिविटी सप्लीमेंट्स. देखें क्या करती है ये. एज लॉन्जिटिविटी सप्लीमेंट्स का मार्केट है तो मतलब दिस इज अगेन, दीज आर, ये बिकेगा मतलब ओटी ओवर द काउंटर ना. ये ओटीसी प्रोडक्ट है, द वे आई लोक एट इट. इसको लेकिन पैसे मिले हैं. इस मार्केट के बारे में क्या है टेक यार आप लोगों का? व्हाट इज योर टेक ऑन दिस? ये तो इसका वेबसाइट. हाँ.
Oh, healthcare
स्टे.
is something which I'm currently looking at. I've been
हम्म.
looking at healthcare for about a month now, deep
हम्म.
diving into various segments. So there
हम्म.
are two segments which are showing double-digit growth. One is nutraceutical plus supplement segment, and second is healthcare management, basically companies which manage operations of large hospitals, etc. Right.
हम्म.
So this segment is interesting. Post COVID, this health supplement, etc. That has really it's growing 20% YY, and overall, I think in the pie also it has a sizable chunk. And a lot
Interesting.
of startups have come up in D2C space also, right?
Hmm.
Protein, not only protein supplement, but other kind of supplements also.
Hmm. Harry, Saurabh, what's your take on this?
This one, I think, is a difficult market once you reach like 25, 30 crores in revenue, because that's the point most of the companies are plateauing out. So I think I like the deal construct where they have got a royalty
The
component
royalty
because
component.
uh, so these guys I think had a decent sales, maybe 15, 20 CR if I'm not mistaken. So in that case, once you put in the royalty, at least the money comes back. Selling
Hmm.
a company in this space could be difficult, so that could create issues for the investors' exits.
Hmm. Harry, any take on this? इनका ये जो एक
See, I think,
सप्लीमेंट है, सॉरी, गो ऑन।
see, I think there is proof. In fact, that is what the discussion also happened. That is there any test reports for this? That okay, this is the change. What has happened? I don't think so. Their data point is there. So right now it's a claim.
Hmm.
Now, how does it? Because it is not a 1 or 2 year. It will happen over a period of time.
Hmm.
So this claim about longevity and everything, I'm not so confident of that.
Hmm. यार
So
इसका ना देखो, हेल्थ सप्लीमेंट्स आई अंडरस्टैंड, हेल्थ सप्लीमेंट्स इज अ ग्रेट दिस थिंग। इनके तो मेरे ख्याल से देयर आर दीज हेल्थ कार्ट एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज कंपनीज, मतलब इट्स अ वर्टिकल, प्रॉपर वर्टिकल। एनीबडी हु इज हेल्थ कॉन्शियस दे माइट गो इनटू दीज हेल्थ सप्लीमेंट्स एंड ऑल। ये वाला जो है एंटी एजिंग वाला जो पूरा का पूरा गेम है, एंटी एजिंग थोड़ा सा हार्ड सेल है, मुझे लगता है। और अगेन इसकी टीम के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंड करेगा कि जो आप बोल रहे हो ना कि द क्लेम दैट दे आर मेकिंग, डज इट, ये सारे बच्चे हैं यार। एक इनका एक बंदा है जो डेटा साइंस का बंदा है, गूगल स्कॉलर, व्हाट डज दिस मीन? सो एक बंदा है जो शायद इनका एसएमई है, दिस डॉक्टर ओहाद मैनर। बाकी तीनों तो मेरे ख्याल
The
से
advisor, he is
बीडी
not
वाले
full
बंदा है।
time.
हाँ, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना, कंसल्टेंट है ये फिर तो। ठीक है। तो अगर ये कंसल्टेंट वाले लेवल पे खेल रहा है, मतलब बन गया है, उसका प्रोडक्ट बना करके ये लोग बेच रहे हैं अभी। इनका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भी अगर आप देखोगे ना, मैंने अभी आई आई नोटिस दिस कि ये देखो अमेजोन पे ही बेच रहे हैं ये, मतलब वही दे आर यूजिंग द यूजुअल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मोडालिटीज एंड ट्राइंग टू सेल इट। 3,400 का क्या है भाई ये? 30 30 30 टैबलेट 3,400 की, 100 रुपए का एक टैबलेट। ओके, अनलेस एंड अनटिल दिस मतलब ये कुछ ज्यादा ही ये है यार, मतलब we'll have to do a little bit more इसके ऊपर। we can probably come back after 3 or 4 months and see कि इनका actually चल क्या रहा है, because I am surprised कि अनुपम मित्तल ने पैसा डाला है, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो हुआ होगा, या फिर इसमें ऑलरेडी किसी ने पैसा डाला हुआ है एंड these people are just मतलब assuming कि भैया उस बंदे ने किया है। इसमें देखें जरा, डिकोड एज में पैसा डाला हुआ है क्या किसी ने?
The main reason again he wanted to put in money because again इनके claims वगैरह weren't scientifically proven.
देन
So
व्हाई
the
व्हाई डिड ही
reason
पुट इन
Anupam
मनी? दैट इज माय क्वेश्चन ना।
because their sales is good, so he's mainly
हाँ।
looking at royalty from this business. Their core
हाँ।
business is different, which is now being built when you talk about aging, right? So that
हम्म।
is not a proven business, Abhi. But since their sales are good, so he will
हम्म।
just make his money anyway from the royalty. He wasn't
हम्म।
willing to go for a equity deal.
हाँ, नहीं इक्विटी का तो इसका सेंस ही नहीं बनता, तो बेच के दिखा, मैं पैसा एटलीस्ट रिकवर कर लूंगा जितना भी बिकता है उससे। Also, I don't know whether Anupam Mittal would be able to give them the right kind of expertise. I think a Piyush Bansal, who has an experience of offline and a proper B2C kind of a sale, or probably an Aman Gupta would have made a little bit more sense कि Amazon में बिकता कैसे है, can they optimize that? Anupam comes with a SEO experience, the way I look at it. SEO app optimization experience. But okay, that's something which I believe. Let's move on to the next one. It's called a little extra. This is handmade fabric jewelry. ये भी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है। विनीता ने डाला है पैसा और अनुपम ने डाला है। विनीता मतलब देन शी इज गेटिंग टू द फैशन वाला स्पेस। देखिए जरा लिटिल एक्स्ट्रा क्या करती है भाई। लिटिल एक्स्ट्रा हैंडमेड ज्वेलरी। हैंडमेड नहीं, क्या है ये? हैंड पिक्ड एंड हैंडमेड ज्वेलरी। इंटरेस्टिंग। सो ये बेसिकली हैंडमेड ज्वेलरी है। यार ये तो बुटीक होता है। मतलब हाउ आर दे, सो बेसिकली देन इनका मुझे जो समझ में आ रहा है, करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, दे मस्ट हैव क्रैक्ड स्केलेबिलिटी इन दिस मार्केट। मतलब व्हेन आई से स्केलेबिलिटी, ये तो बेसिकली मॉम एंड पॉप स्टोर्स में ऐसे बहुत सारे आपको ज्वेलरी मिलते हैं। दे मस्ट हैव गॉटन आर्टिजन्स टू, दे मस्ट हैव गॉटन आर्टिजन्स ऑन बोर्ड, और उनके साथ उनका कुछ मॉडल होगा, द वे आई लुक एट इट, क्योंकि आई डोंट सी दिस एज समथिंग व्हिच इज दैट इंटरेस्टिंग। यार इसमें पैसे भी डाले हैं लोगों ने। क्या लगता है, व्हाट इज योर टेक ऑन दिस सौरभ, हरी?
For me, this was a deal which I was also thinking, why did they do it? Because
Yeah,
after a point, scalability would be a challenge anyway. So this is like
yeah,
a boutique thing, as you said, right?
yeah.
So unless she is able to run it profitably and start giving back money to the investors, it doesn't seem to be a place where this could be sold.
मेरा ये टेक है कि हो सकता है कि, हाँ सॉरी हरी, गो ऑन गो ऑन गो ऑन।
No, I'm worried about what's the exit for an investor.
या या तो ये तो मतलब
I,
कुलमणि, व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस?
I'm thinking of something like Chumbak when this comes to mind. So Chumbak
हम्म
started in 2008-9,
हम्म
ultimately sold for 300 CR to another D2C brand, Goat, right, as you may remember.
हम्म
So that is one of the plays which could be here. But
हम्म
see, this kind of uh, you know accessories are very popular with Gen Z and Gen Alpha, as I'm looking at those themes also, right?
अच्छा।
So they tend to buy these kind of items, and
हम्म
I think one of the exits I could think something similar to Chumbak, where they are bought by another D2C
एक्विजिशन।
brand. Right, right. Chumbak also raised, I think,
चुंबक ने
significant
उठाया था,
amount of money.
50
They
मिलियन
did
तक
some
गया
eight
था
nine
शायद।
rounds, eight nine
या
rounds, yeah. And so yeah, I think that's the only thing I can think popular with Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and then exit could be.
No, because I had invested in a company which is into journals. Okay.
हम्म
And very two brothers running it. Still, there are two brothers running the company, doing a revenue of almost like 5-6 crores a year.
हम्म
Okay.
हम्म
And profitable business. But when
हम्म
we talk to the investors, there is a hesitancy from larger investors to come in for these kind of businesses. So there will be good dividend paying businesses, but
हम्म
there was some, and today actually everyone says a physical versus digital. Everyone says कि आजकल किताब पढ़ता कौन है kind of thing.
हम्म हम्म हम्म
But US, it's a huge market in US for these kind
हम्म
of things.
हम्म
So maybe
इंटरेस्टिंग।
they are looking at something like exports or something as well.
इंटरेस्टिंग, ये भी इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट है। अच्छा, आप लोग की वॉल्यूम थोड़ी सी कम है, मैं वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दे रहा हूँ। सॉरी गाइस, वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दिया मैंने। आई होप दैट्स फाइन। ओके, सो या सो आई थिंक, देखो मेरा क्या टेक है कि इसमें, I think from an exit perspective, I think acquisition is the only sense, and then their design becomes their USP. The how their products stand apart in terms of design, in terms of in terms of look and feel, is where the this thing is. मेरा take ये है कि अगर ये handmade बोल रहा है, तो the way I am looking at it is कि इन लोगों ने फिर अपना सप्लाई चेन इस तरीके से ऑप्टिमाइज किया होगा कि भाई एटलीस्ट स्केलेबल बनने के लिए इट कांट बी 5 or 10 people who are doing this. Either they are employing people or the story would be that I am giving opportunity to so many small artisans and mom and pops या फिर the tier 2 tier 3 artisans to come on board and and sell their designs on our platform. जैसे लाइम रोड एक
I think
जमाने
it's
में
a
किया करता था, आई थिंक. क्या लगता है हरी?
impact play. Basically, that is also.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है दैट देयर इज नो अदर वे हैंडमेड ज्वेलरी को आप स्केलेबल बना सकोगे यार. मतलब अनलेस एंड अनटिल दैट गेम इज देयर. क्या लगता है गुलमणि?
I think when you talk about artisan programs, Tanishq is the perfect example where it could be done. Obviously, Tata's have the balance sheet firepower, and they have been doing it for 20, 30 since 90s, and Titan is a company which has been there since 50 years. So yeah, there are examples companies which have done it really, really good. Tanishq being the which comes to top of my mind, where they
पर
have
तनिष्क में
artisans.
मार्जिन होगा ना दादा, इसमें कहाँ मार्जिन है?
Right, right, right. So maybe I have not looked at their product catalogs and what they're thinking. But like I said, this is mostly Gen Z, Gen Alpha play, D2C.
गॉट इट.
Uh, Also, Chumbak also, I don't know what were their product margins at SKU level or unit level. But having been in that store twice in last 10 years, I think those margins must have been good because things were not cheap in Chumbak stores. If you have walked,
सोशल सोशल मीडिया में तो इन्होंने मचाया है सर. 250K फॉलोअर्स है
yeah.
इनके. देयर मार्केटिंग मस्ट बी गुड. दिस जनकपुरी से ऑपरेट करते हैं सर ये.
See, this impact would have happened after the
हाँ, ये भी हो सकता
Shark
है.
Tank. मतलब
ये
वो
भी हो
एक
सकता है.
स्पाइक आता है सब में.
ये भी हो सकता है. ये भी हो सकता है. वैलिड पॉइंट. चलो मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट वन. अगला है, ये मैच अप हुआ था असेंबली वर्सेस नैशर माइल्स में. दोनों ट्रैवल बैग्स की कंपनी थी एंड नैशर माइल्स बेसिकली वन. 3 करोड़ मांग रहे थे 0.75% इक्विटी के लिए. वाओ. ओके. मतलब दिस इज व्हाट अराउंड 40 मिलियन के आसपास का मांग रही है. 40 मिलियन का वैल्यूएशन मांग रहे थे. 3 crore for 1.5% equity and 1% royalty until 3 crore is recouped. हाँ, तो मतलब देखें भाई नाशर माइल्स क्या करता है. नाशर माइल्स बैग्स. मैं वॉल्यूम थोड़ा और बढ़ा देता हूँ यार. पिछली बार ना आई वाज लिसनिंग टू द टू टू ऑल द गेस्ट का दिस थिंग. तो मुझे लगा कि उनकी वॉइस थोड़ी फट रही थी, तो मैंने थोड़ा कम गेन कर दिया था. बट बता देना यार इन केस यू पीपल फाइंड द वॉइस अ लिटिल बिट लो, तो मैं इसको थोड़ा सा और बढ़ा दूंगा. एंड आई एम दिस टाइम अराउंड आई एम कीपिंग द आईज ऑन द चैट एज वेल.
They are doing 100 crore revenue as well.
100 करोड़ का
These
रेवेन्यू कर
guys.
रहे हैं.
Yeah.
हाँ. ये बैग्स लगेज स्पेस जो है, मुझे तो हमेशा से ओलिगोपोलिस्टिक लगती थी. व्हाट इज योर टेक on this on these businesses?
Exciting.
हम्म.
Exciting.
एक्साइटिंग है.
There's a huge demand. Exciting.
तो तो इसमें क्या इनोवेशन इज हैपनिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिजाइन, इन टर्म्स ऑफ फॉर्म फैक्टर्स? मतलब डिमांड तो हमेशा देखो, बिकता तो आपका वहीं 2-3 ओकेजन्स पे ही है. हाँ सॉरी, बट आप बता दो हैरी, उसके बाद मैं थोड़ा सा अपना बताऊंगा
No,
आपको.
my thinking is that travel has increased. Now people are traveling a lot, uh, many more times during the year. It's not a one holiday a year kind of thing. And everyone wants to have that new design element, lightweight. So there's a lot of innovation happening because till now there were only two, three guys. वही हमने अपने बचपन से लेके आज तक वही देखे हैं सूटकेसेस.
हम्म.
And so now there are a lot of even assembly and this guy like providing a charger facility along with the bag,
हाँ.
all those things because the use cases are different now. And
इंटरेस्टिंग.
see the colors, designs, pretty interesting.
तो बढ़िया यार, बच्चों के लिए इन्होंने ये वाले बना दिए हैं, कैट, डॉग, क्रोकोडाइल. वेरी
And see the price
इंटरेस्टिंग.
point. 2,500 में. It's not that it is expensive like other high end.
तो ये जो वीआईपी एंड द स्काई बैग्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, वो तो बेसिकली एक ही कंपनी पांच अलग अलग ब्रांड चलाती है ना, वीआईपी, if I'm not wrong. Is this just one brand, Asha Miles, or is this a brand of a parent company doing well? और signature brands, bespoke
Standalone
travel,
brand.
standalone है, very interesting. क्या टेक है कुलमणि आपका?
So I think Harry made a good point. Um, I have looked at travel sector from private equity angle a few
Hmm.
years back, and all
Hmm.
of us may not know that travel is 6 to 7% of global GDP.
Wow.
So travel related industries are hugely, under research or misunderstood. And post COVID, obviously, whatever you may call it, revenge travel or people changing perspective. So huge boom. So yeah,
Hmm.
not surprised. Um, this market uh, will probably see, and you pointed out about kids also, right? They are focusing on that
Hmm.
younger population also.
आपका जेन
So
अल्फा
yeah,
आता है यहाँ पे.
yeah. So travel and experiences both are huge with Gen Alpha. And then like I said, fast fashion and electronics. So
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
like buying 30,000 rupees sneakers, the example I always give. And then this is also, colorful themes, and this is basically appealing to them. But travel is hugely, it's a huge market, not only for VC, but private equity also, right?
Interesting.
Um,
Interesting. सौरभ सर, इसमें मार्जिन कितना होता है यूजुअली लगेज इसमें? कुछ टेक है इसमें? सॉरी, मतलब सौरभ सर, योर टेक एंड देन आई विल probably go into a little bit more detail.
Normally, in case you are being able to manage your supply chain better,
हम्म.
you can make.
सर, ये आप म्यूट हो गए हो सर गलती से. हाँ सॉरी.
So in case you are able to manage your one supply chain and marketing expenses well,
Can you
the
guys?
business founders are taking good amount of salaries, so they don't really have a issue about exits or all that. So the space is that way interesting, and it's like a good space for PE because once these guys cross about $20 million in revenue, that's the point they come into PE segment, and exit could be either a strategic buyout or even let's say a majority buyout by a PE firm.
हम्म. ज्यादातर सूटकेसेस लेकिन एयरपोर्ट और वेडिंग्स में ही बिकते हैं, नहीं? हम्म.
Yeah, so mainly जो इन लोग का वो भी था the pitch था that was centered around your airports पर because everyone has got the same bag now. These guys are giving so many designs
या.
and things,
या.
so you
इनोवेशन
can
एंड
actually
डिजाइन
figure out.
है मेरे ख्याल से, वो पूरा का पूरा गेम फिर
Yeah.
उसी पे. विशाल सर, यू आल्सो हैव अ टेक.
Uh, this is time for the first time. Probably, I'm giving a very positive take, Steve. But before we before we go there, what's happening in the luggage market is that yes, there is technology change coming. There is form factor changes coming because I have been approached earlier by a couple of people who are working in this field to evaluate. So I did that and handed it over. So I have some little exposure. Now, what I see from National Miles is again, my perspectives are very different because I go to the market. I operate in the market basically, despite being a CMO. So the thing is, what I see is their form factor. It's very different. If you see the safaris, the American tourists, all of them are in a particular form factor. There's nothing new.
हम्म.
So they are targeted at that segment. They are slightly cheaper than that segment. So they are targeting at themselves at the premium segment. So this is actually a great place to be in. However, this is not a big however. However, the thing is they are operating in a wafer thin
Margin.
segment of the market because it's not a very deep market. The reason being the cheaper alternatives in terms of these bags that are coming in. For example, yeah, I don't remember ever using one of my American touristers for any tour for at least for the past 7 years. I just drop everything into a duffel bag and move off. That's the trend. That's becoming the trend now. nowadays. So, what the future will be is anybody's guess. Will this gravitate towards the premium end of the market? Will the market go broader? I mean, that's anybody's guess because they are competing on two ends. And the lower end, they are competing with these duffel bag concepts, and some players have split the market evenly right in the middle. What has
Mm,
happened is that 2000 rupee range is now getting entries in the with the from the duffel bags varieties. So they are splitting the competition is splitting right down the middle. So what will be the future impact? That's where my analysis got stuck. I cannot tell you what I wrote finally after my surveys and etc. But that
mm,
was the question that I was looking at. Secondly, margins are very good and very high in this.
mm,
And it is a space where the customer is actually looking for option, counterbalancing this negative that I mentioned. Because customers, I get the feeling they're beginning to get tired of the VIPs and the aristocrats and the whatnots and the who's, what else is. So it's as Saurabh very correctly said, it's a very exciting space to watch. And in terms of technology too, I was surprised because there were some technology innovations, the smart devices, etc., being integrated into bags, which blew my mind. I mean, my first question was, why would anybody want to buy such a bag? So, but
mm,
at the end of the day, somebody has thought of it. So let's see where the market goes. I've been
mm,
proven wrong so many times. So on that, the technology aspect, I'm silent, and let's
mm.
see where the market goes. So that's all. I would like Saurav's take on this, Saurav, because you have, I think, worked. You have got good exposure in this particular segment.
सौरभ सर यू वांट टेक और बिफोर दैट यार देखो आपने चुंबक बोला देखो चुंबक आ गया आई वाज जस्ट चेकिंग कि असेंबली जो है ना असेंबली जो हारी है वो क्या करती है सो दे बेसिकली आर मोर इनटू द कॉर्पोरेट स्पेस द वे आई लुक एट इट इनका फोकस मेरे ख्याल से टीजी स्पेसिफिक जो इनका जीटीएम है ना दोनों का जीटीएम थोड़ा सा डिफर करता है ये थोड़ा सा मेरे ख्याल से बी टू बी स्पेस में ज्यादा ऑपरेट करती है एंड दे हैव अ टाइप विद चुंबक फॉर डिजाइन्स ठीक है सो दिस इज अ चुंबक क्रॉस असेंबली डिजाइन एंड आई थिंक यहाँ पे ना दोनों का पोजीशनिंग भी अलग है वन असेंबली इज मोर कॉर्पोरेट मोर स्वैव जो आपका ये है नाशर माइल्स जो है दिस इज मोर फन मोर जेन जी जेन अल्फा जो आप बोल रहे हो कुलमणि और मैं भी अगर मुझे लेना होता और मेरे ख्याल से कॉस्टिंग में भी डिफरेंस है दोनों में देर इज अ कॉस्टिंग डिफरेंस बिटवीन दिस थिंग ये थोड़ा सा ज्यादा महंगा है असेंबली versus Nasher Miles. But Saurabh, sorry, Vishal was basically asking आपका take है क्या उसमें?
So just again coming back to assembly versus national mile, I think I really liked assembly as well,
Hmm,
given that they had more minimalistic designs
hmm,
and more corporate, like what you said.
hmm,
So the segment, I think they were targeting the same in terms of pricing. The difference is, I think, National Miles is almost like 7 years old brand. So reaching
हाँ
100
हाँ
crores bootstrap, they did a good job. But I think on the assembly side, these guys are 2, 3 year old and they are already touching about 25 crores in revenue. So
hmm,
growth wise, I think these guys are a lot faster, but they have been burning money into the process and they just recently turned cash flow like at 2
cash
crores a
flow
month. They are
positive.
just starting to make break even, right? So
Assembly
वहां पर
और
थोड़ा सा
Nasher Miles.
assembly.
Assembly. अच्छा.
National Mile is roughly, I think, about 7, 8 crores a month kind of a brand. So they're doing 100 crores with, I think, about 15 odd percent EBITDA.
Hmm. Cool.
So
ये तो लगेज स्पेस तो मतलब मेरे लिए भी थोड़ा आई ओपनर था थैंक यू फॉर ऑल दिस इनसाइट्स मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि इतना एक्साइटिंग स्पेस है थोड़ा सा और रिसर्च करता हूँ इसके ऊपर ओके मूविंग ऑन
Also, Sohail,
हाँ बोलो ना
just one thing. Their ask was at 400 crores
हाँ
valuation,
वही
and
मैं बोल रहा हूँ
they did the deal at 200 crores. Okay,
हम्म हम्म
so that's
बट
where.
आई थिंक दैट्स प्राइमरीली बिकॉज आई डोंट नो अभी ये तो मेरे ख्याल से पहला राउंड उठा रहे हैं ना दिस इज द फर्स्ट राउंड अभी तक बूटस्ट्रैप नहीं थे दैट्स व्हाट सौरभ दैट्स व्हाट यू सेड राइट
this is the first round, and this is like, as Kulmani also mentioned, that this is like a private equity kind of a deal. So in
हाँ
case you're doing 100 crores revenue with about a 15% EBITDA, then
हाँ
you fall into 150 to 200 crores valuation range. This is
हाँ
not like a high high multiple kind of a company. So I think 200 crores is a good deal. But given that these guys are giving royalty, so the real valuation is obviously a lot lower.
हम्म। तो मुझे तो लगता है सर कम वैल्यूएशन अगर है तो इजंट दैट बेटर फॉर देम? या मतलब डाइल्यूशन ज्यादा हुई है इनके ना?
Dilution में once you are raising 3 crores or 200 crores valuation, right? It's 1.5% dilution,
वो
which
ज्यादा
doesn't
कुछ
mean
फर्क नहीं पड़ता।
anything.
ज्यादा फर्क
Yeah.
नहीं पड़ता। आई थिंक द गुड पार्ट इज दे गॉट ऑल द शार्क्स इन, सो एटलीस्ट फ्रॉम अ प्रमोशन स्टैंड पॉइंट एंड फ्रॉम अ स्पेशलिटी स्टैंड पॉइंट दीज पीपल will be able to leverage these brand names for some time at least. Chalo, moving on to the next one. So next one is without basically is a product made from waste plastic. Interesting. 75 lakh for 1% equity. Okay. And they got for 75 lakh for 3% equity. तो पीयूष ने डाला है पैसा, रोनी स्क्रू वाला ने डाला है पैसा। इंटरेस्टिंग। तो विदाउट देखें जरा, विदाउट करते ही क्या है? विदाउट क्या है एग्जैक्टली? विदाउट प्रोडक्ट फ्रॉम वेस्ट प्लास्टिक। ओके, विदाउट फ्रॉम प्लास्टिक की वेबसाइट है क्या? नहीं है। विदाउट शार्क टैंक भी लिख देता हूँ। हाँ, व्हाट हैपेंड टू विदाउट आफ्टर शार्क है? ये पुरानी कंपनी है या मुझे गलत डेटा मिला है? विदाउट बाय अशाया, विदाउट डॉट लिव। कॉर्पोरेट गिफ्टिंग, सोर्स मटेरियल्स, कैटी, मोस्ट सनग्लासेस बना रहे हैं। इंटरेस्टिंग, बट लेट मी जस्ट डबल चेक whether this data is right or not. News alt को विदाउट नहीं, विदाउट आई है अभी 2 दिन पहले आई है। दिस इज द कंपनी। ओके, so what products do they have? They have sunglasses, eyeglasses and jewelry. Okay, source material, 100% polyfolium pellets. इंटरेस्टिंग। और ये पुरानी कंपनी है थोड़ी सी, जो मुझे समझ में आ रहा है। इट्स लिटिल बिट ओल्ड, 2024 2023 विदाउट। हाँ, ये रहा ना शार्क टैंक। अच्छा, 2022। नॉट दैट ओल्ड कंपनी आई थिंक। वेट, और थोड़ा पीछे जाना है। 2020 की कंपनी है, कोविड के टाइम पे चालू हुआ था। अशाया इज द लेडी हु बेसिकली स्टार्टेड दिस। सस्टेनेबिलिटी के ऊपर फोकस है, सस्टेनेबिलिटी टेक है सर ये। यूज्ड प्लास्टिक को ये लोग मोल्ड करके बना रहे हैं। क्या टेक है इसमें? सौरभ, हैरी, कुलमणि, विशाल, आकाश, आप शांत हो आज?
Just one question here.
हाँ,
I'm not aware of this brand, but I am active in this space. So I have one question: are they using pellets, or
दे आर यूजिंग
are they
pellets.
collecting the material and then converting to pellets? If it's a pellet, then I have nothing to state. But if they are collecting, then they are doing a bang up job. I am a part of several such initiatives at the ground level, and this is very exciting. But can you just check this out?
ये देखो ना
The,
सर, इफ आई डोंट नो, मेरा स्क्रीन दिख रहा है या नहीं
yeah,
दिख
दिख
रहा?
रहा है. I'm reading that actually.
So they are saying 100% recycled polyethylene pellets extracted from impossible to recycle plastic waste for molding purposes. Combination of polyethylene and polypropylene extracted
Do they
from
do the processing
post-consumer.
themselves, or are they acquiring pellets? Do they do the processing themselves, or are they acquiring pellets?
तो ये क्या बोल रहा है? This material can be
So
recycled.
impact hospital में scalability का पड़ेगा. If they are only procuring the pellets and moving up from there, this is easily scalable. But if
हाँ
they
तो
are
हाँ,
groundwork से
समझा
कर रहे हैं,
मैं,
तो then the scalability is something we will need to look at. That's what
समझा
I'm
मैं,
interested in.
समझा मैं। ये देखो ना, material is available in pellet form in bags or batches of 5 kg. So I am assuming they procure it. Lead time is 4 to 8 weeks depending on quality and location. So what are they selling this? Um, We
It's
are
not
still
clear.
tiny but
It's
are
not clear.
beginning to do explore product pilots with small to big. For more information on our materials, including mechanical properties, please email here. Sustainability, okay, toxicity, this material specific, applications, the combination of flexibility. Okay, it's not clear
Sure,
actually.
whatever it is, all the best to them. We need many, many more such initiatives.
Yeah, yeah, end
But
of 30
fascinating. Thanks,
minutes.
one. I was
Nice.
not aware of this. I was really not aware of this. I'll look it up. Thank you.
I think
Nice.
Piyush has picked up, so it will be extension of his
Lens cut.
lens not.
ये
Yeah, yeah.
अरे सर प्रोडक्ट ही ये चश्मा बनाते हैं देखो ना प्रोडक्ट ही है इनका चश्मा the product
That's why he
refractive
picked up. That's why.
yeah yeah so Piyush has picked it up no wonder very good any take on this Harry Gulmani ये तो मेरे ख्याल से sustainability tech में चला जाता है ना ये गेम
Yeah, it has been some time since I entered the space, so no immediate thoughts. We need
इसमें
to
लेकिन
think.
एग्जिट का क्या फंडा है इट्स एक्विजिशन ओनली ना मतलब आई डोंट थिंक इट्स अ बिजनेस और इज इट मोर लाइक अ सोशल वाला एंगल से पैसा डाला गया है और इज देयर एक्चुअल प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी एंगल फॉर द इन्वेस्टर्स मतलब एग्जिट स्ट्रैटेजी है इसमें या फिर बस नाम के लिए ही है
Well,
ले लिया था यार, हो गया एग्जिट स्ट्रेटेजिक हो गया इन्वेस्ट।
I'll tell you a truth which people would not like to discuss from the seaside. So last quarter, I looked at all the sustainability deals which were done in India. I
हम्म
spoke to about 10 to 15 founders personally, where I reached out to them, understand
हम्म
how VCs are evaluating deals in sustainability space, and I will also share a quarterly report about those quotes which we have received about
हम्म
sustainability is one of the themes which we looked at last quarter.
हम्म
So from investment point of view, it's twofold. One is nobody has a thesis on sustainability. Second is everybody wants to put in money in sustainability related businesses. Right.
हम्म
Nobody knows. Answer to your question, what is the exit?
हम्म
Nobody knows how the value creation is going to happen. Nobody knows, but everybody wants to deploy capital.
हम्म
Now, this is the feedback from first-hand feedback from founders who have raised 200K to few $1 million in last 100 days, right?
हम्म
Just open conversations. How were your meetings with 4 VC fund managers,
हम्म
which are considered blue chip investors?
हम्म
So nobody has a thesis. Nobody would like to admit it publicly, but I'm telling you, this is the feedback which I received.
हम्म बट मुझे भी समझ में नहीं आता मुझे तो सीएसआर लगता है ये तो भलाई दुनिया की भलाई के लिए आप डाल रहे हो फिर पैसा वो वाला सीन है बट ठीक है चलो लेट्स मूव ऑन so the next startup is Kibo by Trestle Labs. This is an optical character recognition. ये भी पीयूष ने डाला होगा पैसा यस पीयूष ने डाला है पैसा और बहुत सस्ते में उठाई है ऑप्टिकल कैरेक्टर रिकग्निशन यानी ये डीप टेक में जाएगा कीबो बाय ट्रेसल लैब्स देखे जरा ट्रेसल लैब्स 60 लाख की डील इनकी वेबसाइट नहीं है क्या अच्छा न्यूज पे देख रहा हूँ मैं ट्रेसल लैब्स मेकिंग अच्छा शार्क टैंक कोई बना दिया अपना फेविकॉन managing schools colleges and offices digitally inclusive with solutions that help listen translate and digitize content across 60 global languages very interesting ये ऑप्टिकल कैरेक्टर रिकग्निशन क्यों लिखा हुआ है लेकिन इनका ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आया ओह ऑप्टिकल कैरेक्टर रिकग्निशन सो दे कैन
और
सी
उसी जो टेक्नोलॉजी।
हाँ दे कैन वर्नाकुलर भी अगर लिखा हुआ है तो उसको रिकॉग्नाइज करके वो कन्वर्ट कर देता है अच्छा लिसन ट्रांसलेट डिजिटाइज एंड ऑडियोटाइज ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है सर तो ये क्या टाइप भी कर देता है खुद ब खुद कि आपने मान लो इंग्लिश में लिखा उसको खुद ब खुद ही वो हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट कर देगा मलयालम में ट्रांसलेट कर देगा और अगर एंड वाइस वर्सा आई थिंक वर्नाकुलर में इनका पूरा का पूरा गेम होगा फिर ओके इफ यू हैव हार्ड कॉपी प्रिंटेड एंड हैंड रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट्स and want to listen translate digitize or audiotize them अंग्रेजी की किताब आपको मलयालम में पढ़ के बता सकता है सर ये।
Yeah, this fits into the Bharat theme. I don't know how many of
यस।
you are aware, but judiciary in India has a huge struggle. A judge sitting in
हम्म।
Chennai cannot give a judgment in Tamil, right?
हम्म। हम्म।
Because of the language issue. Yeah? People working in the court system and other departments. That's just an
हम्म।
example I'm giving, right? India is such a diverse country. So
हम्म।
all the judgments from lower judiciary till Supreme Court are written in English. Even
हम्म।
though the person who is appealing or person who is defending may not understand in English, right? In most
हम्म।
cases, the language
हम्म।
which is written.
हम्म।
So these kind of use cases are interesting, and uh, I think it will be a interesting play going forward.
तो
Many use
बहुत
cases I can think
बहुत
of. Many
many
use
many use
cases.
cases, many use cases.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how
Just
many
a
of you.
sobering thought here, Sohail, just a sobering thought here. While
हाँ।
this is indeed a very interesting space to be in and it's sure to be big, as of now, we need to just hold on to our horses until the technology matures because in language there are four clear aspects.
Yeah.
Content hai, context hai, semantics hai, grammar hai, these are all completely different. Translation currently works fine on the grammatical aspects, but it at times slips in the contextual and the semantic aspects. It will, of course, improve with time as the models improve, as the training data sets themselves improve, as the biases go down, and so on and so forth. But what's fascinating here is the OCR aspect, and it's an end-to-end solution because I have to do translations every day in three languages.
Hmm.
So I use a variety of tools. This is one single tool that end to end I can just have a hard copy based on what I'm seeing, and I get uh, a video output.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is very.
yeah.
If I have to create a Marathi video from a English content for my marketing, I know the kind of steps that we have to take, even with all the tools that I have available. So it's a very
Hmm.
promising area, but with one caveat. I don't think we are yet at that point when we can take the output as is without editing. We will need to have a strong linguistic skilled editor on the team who can verify the translated contents. With that
Hmm.
caveat, brilliant. Because this is
Q
my field. I mean, I practically do this practically every day. Couple of hours
QA
every day. I do
QA
it every
QC
day.
QA QC करना करना ज्यादा
Yeah,
जरूरी है
yeah,
यहाँ पे before
yeah.
to deploy it properly.
Because no tool so far has satisfied me in terms of contextual meaning capturing. There are a few, I would not, since this is an open forum, I will not like to name brands. There are a few
Hmm.
that are really good, but I haven't found any that's there yet. I may be wrong.
Hmm.
I'm only one person, but that's my feeling.
इसमें लेकिन
So,
दो
Deepani,
तीन
I think
चीजें
we'll have
हैं।
something interesting to say on this.
Yeah, I think
हाँ।
if you see, right, the idea of Krutrium AI, right, it is
Hmm.
like it is something on the same lines because see what happens is that see now the thing is that with like large language models, right, the problem with large language models is that they are trained on the US data, right, and very and the data of our side is very less,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
especially the vernacular. So I
Yeah.
think the idea is with basically Servom AI, right, and Krutrium AI, which where they are either basically fine tuning with our data or basically building the large language model with our data. I think
Hmm.
those players would do basically well in this space. The only issue what I feel is that I think if the tech becomes easy, right, then there is no moat with them. The only moat they will have is distribution, right?
Hmm.
Else there will be no moat because then if the tech is also resolved, then it will be very easy for anyone else to do it. Right, so that would also be a challenge.
हम्म। देखो मेरा ये टेक है इसमें कि एक तो आई थिंक दे आर वर्किंग क्लोजली विद द गवर्नमेंट फ्रॉम व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड, क्योंकि इन्होंने देखो डिजिटल इंक्लूजन बोल रहे हैं, पेटेंटेड टेक्नोलॉजी स्टैक ट्रस्टेड बाय आईटी एंड स्टेट एंड सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी, ऑलरेडी घुस गए ये। ठीक है। और ऊपर से यहाँ पे ये बोल रहे हैं इन कंप्लायंस विद सीबीएसई सर्कुलर एंड गाइडलाइंस आल्सो एंड यूजीसी गाइडलाइंस एंड नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी। तो आई थिंक दे आर गोइंग द
That's
गवर्नमेंट
possible.
route।
That's
हाँ।
possible because IIT, then I personally know of several people who have been working on this for years and years.
Yeah, yeah,
So this has been a major focus area, at least in the Indian linguistics scenario.
yeah।
So of that, there is no doubt.
हम्म। तो मेरा बस ये टेक है कि जो आप बोल रहे हो ना आकाश की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, देखो बॉटम अप और टॉप डाउन तो ये टॉप डाउन जा रहे हैं। ये बोल रहे हैं भाई मैं गवर्नमेंट के साथ ही
Hmm.
कर रहा हूँ, गवर्नमेंट ही मेरा बेचेगा, मोदी जी मेरा नाम लेंगे एक बार और सब कोई ले लेंगे हमारा। तो कहानी वो है।
Hmm.
um
Again,
and
that I understand this. I mean, I
hmm,
understand completely understand it. But do you think, I mean, they would be able to make like higher margins, right? Because if you see most SaaS players, right, they, I mean, I'm not exactly sure if it is SaaS or not. But if you
hmm,
see the real SaaS players, their gross margin must be 70-80%, right?
hmm,
That's why
हाँ।
like that's the expectation. Would they be able to reach that expectation, right?
अब देखो मेरा
That would
इसमें क्या टेक है कि एक तो सास है, ठीक है, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट। अब सास का क्या है ना, इफ दे गेट इंडक्टेड इनटू द डिजिटल स्टोरी ऑफ इंडिया और सारे स्कूल्स को बोल दिया जाए कि भाई ये इस्तेमाल करो, तो उनका कैक जीरो हो गया, क्योंकि वो डायरेक्टली उनका पाइपलाइन में फनल में घुस गया वो स्कूल के। एंड द यूजेबिलिटी कम्स ऑटोमेटिकली। लुक एट द वॉल्यूम ना, मतलब माय पॉइंट इज, if this gets standardized across all universities and all schools, the moment we get into a digitized model, then I think margins will not be a problem for you, because then you'll be playing on a lot of volume. अगर आप एक एक करके हर एक कॉर्पोरेट को जाकर के पिच करते हो, या फिर आप एक एक कंपनी को ऑनबोर्ड कर रहे हो, बहुत मेहनत है, आई एग्री। लेकिन
100%
Yeah.
that is true.
तो
Yeah.
मेरा वो टेक है। क्या लगता है इसमें, हैरी, सौरभ, व्हाट आर योर टेक्स ऑन दिस?
Yeah, I do have slightly different take on this
हम्म,
because this is like a kind of a tech or a feature, right?
हम्म,
So which will anyway come. So how can, let's say, how big a business we can make around this, which would be provided for free by a lot of technology companies. That will be one of the challenges. And secondly, once you look at their valuation of 10 crores, right, they
हम्म,
hardly have scratched the surface. So they have
हम्म,
put in tons of names out here in terms of MOUs and something, but
हम्म,
they haven't been able to monetize it yet, which is a key issue in this kind of a scenario.
हम्म। ये देखो, मार्केटिंग तो बहुत अच्छी की है सर इन लोगों ने,
Yeah, so
देख रहे
I
हो?
tend to agree with
हम्म,
yeah, I tend to agree with Saurabh also, right?
हम्म,
So all these logos you see, for example, I'm currently
These are, let's
working.
say, sorry.
No, you go
I'm
ahead.
saying these are crap logos, right? Because what has happened is this is like you putting in name of 50 VCs, okay, they are part
हम्म,
of us,
हम्म,
but none of them might have done a deal with you.
हम्म,
So putting in the logos is the easiest thing you can actually
आई
do.
एग्री, आई
Sorry,
एग्री।
Kulmani, go ahead.
Yeah, so first to Suhail's point, from user acquisition perspective, this partnerships, the best way. Them. Not even CBSE schools. Let's say they become partner of something like Indian Knowledge System, right,
हम्म,
which is run by AICT and UNICE, right? That will give
हम्म,
them. And second, to Saurabh's point, also, I completely agree that this doesn't mean anything. Is it converting into revenue? Maybe
हम्म,
not. So let's say I'm working. I was last week. I was with a AI founder who's training his model on CBSE data. Right?
हम्म,
He had done MOU with CBSE, but it's not generating any revenue immediately. I don't know how will that convert into revenue. But and then CBSE may have done multiple MOUs with multiple companies in the same space. Not sure.
इनका रेवेन्यू कितना है अभी? तो सारे डोमेन एक्सपर्ट्स लग रहे हैं मुझे। हम्म, इसका रेवेन्यू कितना है? कैन वी फाइंड दैट आउट? ये तो मेरे कंपनी चेक से उठाना पड़ेगा डेटा। कंपनी चेक को पार्टनर ला रहे हैं बाय द वे। जूम इन्फो बोल रहा है 5 मिलियन से कम है, मतलब 30 करोड़ से कम है, दैट्स फाइन, बट हाउ मच इज इट? ये नंबर मैं निकालूंगा, अगली बार से मैं लेकर के बैठ रहा हूँ सर। ठीक है, कंपनी चेक
This
का
means
Is
once you look at the
40 लाख का
episode, you
रेट
can
है,
actually
40 लाख का रेवेन्यू है सर इनका। 40 लाख।
so
नेट
company
सेल्स
check
वाज
is
40 लाख।
company check is better than Toffler in your
यार
experience.
मेरा कंपनी चेक का एक्सपीरियंस बहुत अच्छा रहा है। I will show you after the record, after the this
Sure,
thing is
sure,
done. I'll show you what it is and how it does it. So ये
sure,
बोल
sure.
रहा है 2019 का डेटा है, लेकिन थोड़ा पुराना डेटा है। नेट सेल्स 40 लाख का था उस टाइम, बट 2019 इज टू ओल्ड डेटा, 5 साल पुराना डेटा है ये। हम्म, आई एम अज्यूमिंग
Other
थोड़ा सा तो
factor
बड़ा
is
होगा. हम्म.
no, no. So there are a couple of factors. One, this is a 6-year-old company incorporated in 2017,
17.
and once these guys are getting a 10 crores का valuation, वही 50 lakhs to 1 crore के बीच में revenue रहेगा.
हम्म.
So they've hardly scratched the surface yet.
हम्म. चलो, ऑल द बेस्ट टू देम. ठीक है, पैसे डले हैं तो आई एम अज्यूमिंग थोड़ा सा तो काम आएगा. देखो, आई थिंक ये जितने इनका जो जीटीएम मुझे जो समझ में आया, ठीक है, एंड अगर आपकी इनकी जो वेबसाइट है ना, आई डोंट नो, वेट, आई थिंक बंद कर दिया वो अबाउट इस. हाँ, ये है इनका. दिस इज द स्टोरी दैट दे आर सेइंग, राइट. 2017 से इन्होंने चालू किया था बनाना. आई थिंक ये जितने आप ये देख रहे हो ना लोगोज, ऑल ऑफ दीज लोगोज हैव कम हियर. सो इन्होंने मेरे ख्याल से स्टार्टिंग में बनाया, फिर दे आर सेइंग कि विल कस्टमर्स बाय. फिर 2018 में इन्होंने कुछ कुछ एमओयू साइन किए, 12 ऑर्डर आए इनके पास 6 मंथ पायलट का. देन दे हैव ग्रोन, और 2021 में कुछ कुछ अवार्ड ववार्ड जीते हैं. अभी ये लोग मेरे ख्याल से कुछ इंटरनेशनल भी जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. दीज पीपल आर गोइंग फॉर स्केलिंग, पार्टनरशिप एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशंस. अगर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन बोल रहा है तो आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि थोड़ा सा तो बेच ही रहा होगा ये. एंड
Anyway,
ऑल
so
ऑफ दीज.
most
बोलो
of
बोलो.
these distribution deals don't actually convert into revenue.
कन्वर्ट इन, अच्छा. गॉट इट, गॉट इट, गॉट इट, गॉट इट. अभी मेरे ख्याल से ये पूरा पीआर पे ही फिर फोकस है, सो दैट एनीवेयर एवरीवेयर सर्चेस, ये सब वैलिडेशन देता है ना सर. क्रेडिबिलिटी बिल्डिंग एक्सरसाइज है ये सारी की सारी, व्हिच हेल्प्स देम इजी फॉर इजियर क्लोजर्स. देखते हैं, लेट्स सी हाउ इट गोस. इफ एनीथिंग क्लोजेस, इट क्लोजेस. चलो, मूविंग ऑन टू द लास्ट डील ऑफ द डे. आई थिंक वी हैव ऑलरेडी शॉट आवर टाइमिंग, तो जल्दी जल्दी क्लोज कर लेते हैं. VOLD, वोल्ड एनर्जी ड्रिंक. अमन गुप्ता ने पैसा डाला इसमें. 50 लाख मांगने आए थे 2% इक्विटी के लिए. 100 करोड़ की वैल्यू, 100 करोड़ के वैल्यूएशन के लिए 10 लाख फॉर 10% इक्विटी पे देखे गए हैं. क्या है भाई, दे सोल्ड देयर सोल. वोल्ड, देखे भाई. ये सर D2C मार्केट तो अभी मुझे लग रहा है पूरा वो हो गया है. इट्स सैचुरेटेड नाउ. मतलब डन एंड डस्टेड हो गया है, मुझे तो लग रहा है. ये एनर्जी ड्रिंक्स इतने सारे बन रहे हैं, कितना ही यूएसपी होगा यार. तो ये तो आया था खरीदने लास्ट ईयर. आई थिंक D2C ब्रांड्स, बहुत सारे D2C ब्रांड्स ने पैसे उठाए थे फ्रॉम फ्रॉम शार्क टैंक. इस साल not a lot of people are basically doing D2C deals. What is your take on this kind of market right now? Kulmani, Harry, Vishal. Vishal, आप तो CMO हो, आपका क्या टेक है इसमें?
Oh my God, this is not the market I would venture into. I am more looking at it from the perspective of a chef, which I am actually, by the way,
Hmm.
and I would not venture into this. Caffeine hai, it's a caffeine drink, vitamins hai. They are claiming low sugar. Without going into details, I can't say more, but it's a caffeine based drink, and I don't know. It's very difficult. I've never seen this drink, and I don't know. It's
सर ये
very
FMCG
hard.
है सर.
Very
FMCG is
hard.
just marketing. That has nothing to do with product. प्रोडक्ट तो कुछ भी बना दो. प्राइम
At
बिक
the
रहा
end
है
of the
ना.
day, see, no, no.
लोगन पॉल
At
बेच
the
रहा
end
है
of the day,
प्राइम.
the product does matter. Even in FMCG,
हम्म.
the product does matter. It's I can give you a lecture on the Amul versus the Cadbury difference, so I won't do not go
हाँ.
there. But the point is, at the end of the day, what constitutes the product? See, the marketing will get you the initial trial,
हम्म.
and it's the product that will give you the sustainability. And this for the first time, I'm seeing a big major play on caffeine.
हम्म.
And I don't know, India is not a coffee market. India is not a coffee market, so will it click with the Indian population unless they have an international audience in mind? They are saying caffeine, they are saying vitamins. The website is very different, so this is one place I would like to remain silent and
हम्म.
learn. But MFSI, it's I would not get it.
क्या
I
है
would
अभी
not even apply for
D2C मार्केट में
the.
क्या चल रहा है गुलमणि? ये ऐसे एनर्जी ड्रिंक्स का मार्केट सैचुरेट नहीं हो गया अभी?
Trees don't grow to the sky and nothing goes to zero, as I always say, right? In
अच्छा.
investment world, right?
Hmm.
So that is the motto by which investors have to live.
Hmm.
Just responding to Vishal's point about caffeine drinks. So around 2007-8, I was in US, and there was a drink called Full Loco, which was later banned.
Hmm.
Uh, which was very popular at that time. I was in a US university system, and which was very popular there on campus in most of them, Ivy League and other campuses. And that had caffeine plus beer plus other things. So it had an upper and downer. So when you had it, I think within few months, I think FDA banned it. And I think last episode we also discussed OB cocktails,
Hmm. Hmm.
the
Hmm.
founder waste. So those, I think there is some preference, inclination among younger folks for these kind of drinks, but not sure how will that behave. But this caffeine-related drinks have been there. I've looked at them for last maybe 15, 17 years. I mean, I'm aware of them globally in other countries, and they're successful with younger folks. So I'm not sure
Uh,
how Indian, yeah.
आप बोल रहे हो इसका
Kulwani, just
मार्केट है,
one
this
question
is
to you there.
investable, is that what you're saying?
Yes, in other countries there are cases where it's investable. In other countries, India, I don't.
Hmm.
Kulwani, you seem to have studied this market more than I. I have a question. Do you recall any brand in India that has made such a major play based on caffeine? The pitch in India, for example, Red Bull ko dekho, to they do have caffeine content, but they don't scream it from the rooftops. But if you look at their website now, Volt, if you go to their website, it's like they're screaming from the rooftop. In the US, I could understand that, but in Indian context, I do not recall any brand. I may be wrong, so that's what I'm asking you here.
Yes, so I think overall coffee is one of the themes which I have looked at under beverages in India market. Uh, it's certainly attractive. Caffeinated drinks, I agree with you. I have not yet seen any major success story in India. Caffeinated and taste, right? Uh, Red Bull again, it's a very, very different, as you are a marketing expert. It's a very, very different way of reaching out to their customers.
Hmm.
So it will be interesting how it happens. How it happens. It will be interesting thing. But globally, yes, Sunil, there are companies which are successful and are doing these creative caffeine plus other mixers, uppers and
Hmm.
downers.
तो
So
रेड बुल
younger
है,
folks tend to
रेड
like
बुल
that.
इज द क्लासिक
Yeah,
एग्जांपल यार उसके।
yeah, yeah, yeah.
सौरभ, हैरी, क्या टेक है आपका इसमें?
I I'm not too convinced about this.
हम्म। वन
Again,
लाइक।
like
सौरभ, आपका क्या टेक है?
so D2C brands, I think we invested in 18, 19, but beyond that, we have stopped investing because
हम्म।
most of the brands are getting plateaued out at 3 to 5, 7 crores range.
हम्म।
Nothing can get sold. Hardly anyone is making money in the system, apart from Google, Facebook, and YouTube, for example.
हम्म।
So I think this is like a graveyard space, the D2C. And caffeinated drinks, I don't think like I feel positive about that.
ये तो पूरा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन गेम है ना सर, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड अवेयरनेस। मतलब डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में एक बार चखा, उसके बाद आप टेस्ट आपका डेवलप हुआ या फिर पसंद आया तो फिर आप दोबारा लोगे। सैम्पलिंग सैम्पलिंग एंड विजिबिलिटी शुरुआत में करो, फिर उसके बाद तो प्रोडक्ट टेक्स ओवर एंड देन मार्केटिंग व्हाटएवर।
Yeah.
तो
So Ismail, there are two big challenges which are coming in. The D2C brands, they are not holding the customers. They're trying to sell it on Amazon, Blinkit, and other places, right? So
हम्म।
it's not even their own sales. They are actually
हम्म।
tagging on someone to sell their product.
हम्म।
And once you go to offline distribution, none of these guys have raised a decent amount of money to make a
हम्म।
dent in the market.
हम्म।
Because then it
हम्म।
becomes a heavy distribution slash marketing game. You
हम्म।
can't do that with 5, 10, 20 crores raise. You are
हम्म।
going to get killed anyway.
हम्म। हम्म। चलो सही है सर, मतलब ये तो ऐसे ही उठा लिया। मुझे लग रहा है अमन गुप्ता को मन था एक एनर्जी ड्रिंक उठाने का, तो उसको एक चाहिए होगा मिक्सर अपनी दारू के लिए। तो चलो एनर्जी ड्रिंक उठाते हैं। सही है सही है। I think that brings us, and I think it was a good call that we only did the ones which got funded, क्योंकि बाकी सब में फिर टाइम थोड़ा ज्यादा निकल जाता. But I think we had a great discussion today. These were the ones. These are the startups which were showcased in Shark Tank this week. Next week, again at the same place, same time, we'll do the next round. अगले हफ्ते जिन startups को पैसे मिले हैं in Shark Tank, we'll basically do analysis of this. Please leave a comment on the video below on how you like this episode. In case you want us to cover anything else also, leave that in the comment. In case you're coming to our channel for the first time, please subscribe, please like, please tell everyone about the work that we are putting in. I'm sure this must have been helpful because this perspective is something which you don't usually get. We get some of the best found investors in the ecosystem to come and analyze these products for you guys. And in case you people are building in this space, or in case you're building in general, you should be a part of the Builders Club, nas.io/TBC. Join in. We'll see you guys again in next week, same place, same time. चलो सर मैं